everybody. Today we've got with us our good friend Nathan Taylor. Nathan's a worship leader and an evangelist based out of Florida in the USA. And we've had a great time with him here at our church and seen him minister. And we thought it would be good if we just interviewed him, asked him a few questions because he's got so much to impart for a young man. Nathan, so how did you get started in ministry?
Well, that is a very packed question. So the simple answer would be I was 9 years old and I stopped playing sports and I got into music, started playing guitar, and I learned my first 2 songs ever. One was a hymn and the other one was Better Is One Day and God of Wonders, those 3 songs. And I learned them in about 3 months and showed my worship pastor the songs, started playing actually at the church at 9. And then from 9 till 12, I played music for little kids in the children's church. And then at 12 years old, I was invited to a prophetic kind of gathering. And when I went there to lead worship, they actually didn't know I was 12. And so they thought it was somebody's guitar teacher is how I got the invite. And so they said, this kid's not allowed to lead worship. They found another worship leader 5 minutes before the service started. And then they said, but he can do the offering song. So I did the offering song, and the offering song went an hour. And we started flowing and hanging out there for about an hour. And then they said, we want you to do our worship every regional meeting. And so every 3 months I did this regional meeting with pastors, that all came. And from there, just word of mouth, got invited to lead worship at churches from 12 to 16. So
when you were starting out and you were that young,
yeah.
Did you find that people didn't really accept what you were doing, or did they go? Did you feel that you were really encouraged, or how did people respond?
I feel like I want to say that they were accepting for what I was doing,
yeah.
But being that I was young and I did not catch a lot of things that I guess my parents caught because they were helping me obviously get around. I couldn't drive that time. I feel like a lot of people were accepting. It was more so of people saying, you know what, we see that there's something to work with here in this guy.
Yeah.
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him an opportunity. And they would just give me an hour to 2 hours to just flow. I never really planned a set list for that from 12 to 16 really. It was all prophetic stuff. So I would just go up there and sing random words, and they kind of just gave me a platform to do it. So I'd say they were accepting. It was like they gave me a chance, to sink or swim.
So it's kind of all then. I guess we've got used to only letting people have a go when they're the finished article. So allowing you to go in a state where you were still developing how you ministered and so on. Did you feel under pressure in that?
Yeah, I felt under pressure. But the thing is, I didn't really let things really get to me in that sense. It I guess I took a challenge and decided to say, let's just get past this. It wasn't more so pressure or even challenging, like difficult. It was more so of a journey, like fun, like something I could do and I was having a good time at doing. I didn't really know how far it was going to go.
Yeah.
So I had a good time, so I didn't really feel pressured and start losing my hair and stuff like that.
Well, it's obviously gone a long way because you've jetting off all around the world, particularly in the US and Europe. What is it that leads you to do what you do?
Well, I would have said, if you would have asked me that question like 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, I would say that what led me to do what I do is because I'm gifted and I feel like God's called me to do it. But now I wouldn't say that. I would say, you can be gifted and God can call you to do it, but the motive for why I do what I do is because God loves me and this is my response to his love.
So how do you prepare yourself to worship lead in all these different environments all over the place? Is that different from worship leading if you were in a local church all the time?
Definitely. I would say that maybe one day I will be in a local church setting, and in that setting it's totally different than what I do right now, and I understand that. So for what I do, being traveling and on the road a lot, I end up going to different cultures and communities and atmospheres, because every different church body, although we're all the same, have different communities and different cultures amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So if I came to one church and they received me because I brought a specific culture with me, it would be unfair to go to the other one understanding that they have a different community, a different way of expression, and trying to impose the way that I feel comfortable. So I've learned to adapt to different church communities and cultures. So being that I'm responding in love, right, I understand that God loves these different communities, different expressions. And so what I want to do is I want to best fit that expression. I want to best fit that community. So when I'm preparing, I'll pray a lot and I'll ask God what kind of style, what kind of flow He wants to bring through the worship. Once I have an idea of what kind of flow I want to bring, never compromising me. I'm not trying to wear different hats, per se. I don't want to compromise who I am, but I can be expressive in different ways, and I want to see how best I can come alongside a church body and vision and bring a worship that people can engage with, because the whole point of worship is to get people to encounter the Father, to be there with Him. So I want to do the best possible way that we can all get there together.
So how does that encounter with God work out for you personally when you're leading? How do you sense God as you worship leading and understand where He wants you to flow?
Well, you can see it in the response of people, because here's the thing, God is God is God, and if God, He's imagine He's just so big and amazing. If God just with His fingernail touches a mortal body, just with His presence, just with His fingernail, just touches your knee, there has to be some type of expression. I mean, He's God. Yeah. It'd be silly to say that you're encountering God and there be no outward expression to something so powerful and amazing. So when I see people starting to really engage, you can see it in their expression. You can see it in how they lift their hands, how they dance. Maybe that culture dances. Maybe they sing loudly. Maybe they come out of their chairs, come to the front, fill the sides, or do different things. You can see it in their expression, and you can truly sense a tangible presence in the room of, wow, God is here, and we're encountering God. We are truly encountering God, and it may be a completely different flow in this Sunday than it was the last Sunday, because the last Sunday you were at a different church body with a completely different expression, but getting them there was the whole point. And so now God's in the room, people are worshiping, where they're having just this love encounter with God, and you can see it in the way that they express themselves and respond.